Hey, shalom, shalom. I want to begin this lesson giving all praises, all glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Makakodash. Also, I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that do rule and teach well. And as always, peace, love, and many blessings unto the elect. All right, this your brother Artazawan from the GMS Atlanta camp, coming back through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai with another lesson. Lord willing, I do hope and pray that it's edifying, okay? I'm going to be landbacking off of one of the brothers' video, the brother Kashakwala here in the Atlanta camp. The brother did a good video. I was about halfway in, and I had already wanted to land back off the brother's video because this particular topic was on my spirit as well. So I figured I'd watch his video to, draw a little inspiration and, add to the lesson. But his page is GMS Bond God Main. Okay, GMS Bond God Main. So be sure to watch and subscribe to the brother's channel. Be edified, man. But this video is entitled 464 Earthquakes in 7 Days off the Russian Peninsula. And the rest of it says is I say it's Leviathan. Okay, and the brother was going into world maps dealing with earthquakes, current earthquakes that happened within the last few days, showing how active the earthquakes are, volcano eruptions, things of that nature. But he zoned into a specific area on the map, which is that Russian Peninsula located over there, on the Ring of Fire by Alaska and all of that. And basically in that area, there were about 460 something earthquakes in 7 days. And the brother was alluding, made some good points, brought out scriptures dealing with how he think that that's Leviathan. Now, it could very well be, okay? There's no way that we can necessarily prove it, okay? But according to scriptures, the brother, brought his argument forth. And, it could very well be, man. But, I was just looking at just everything and what's been going on with these strange weather patterns. And, there was a mudslide today in India that pretty much wiped the village out. It's been mass flooding here in the States, in the United States. There has been volcano eruptions. Like I mentioned, there was a volcano that erupted, a 600-year-old volcano that hasn't erupted in over 600 years, erupted yesterday in Russia, okay? Then, not to mention, there was another earthquake a few days ago in the Russian area where a tsunami hit, okay? And I believe in Japan as well. So these are all biblical signs pointing to the times of the end, okay? Like Yahushua told us in the book of Matthew, the 24th chapter, which the brother Kashakwala read that scripture. And nonetheless, that's the reality that the earth is facing. Okay, the reality that the earth is facing is that these prophecies are speaking and they coming to pass right before the eyes of many people. Okay, and we're going to see an increase. We're going to see an increase of more major natural disasters, earthquakes, hurricanes, tornadoes, mudslides. Okay, some very, very devastating events are going to take place in the very, very near future. Okay, and it's going to come upon American soil and devastate a lot of these American citizens very soon. Okay, because the Lord has a controversy with the inhabitants of this world. Okay, like it speaks about in Hosea, the 4th chapter, which that particular chapter is speaking about the Israelites. Okay, when you read that chapter, it's going into the Israelites, but really you can allude that to the whole planet Earth, because the Lord does have a controversy with the current inhabitants of the world, which is Esau, Edom, okay, and the illuminated ones. All right, so the Lord is raising up his men in the latter days to preach and speak about these current events and these different signs that's happening around the world. And that is what is going to pretty much point to the return of the anointed, the Messiah, Yahushua. So let's get into the scriptures. Matter of fact, let me play this one. Look at that. Okay, So let's get into the scriptures. All right. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 9, starting at the top. It says, He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So we're supposed to be measuring time according to the prophecies. Okay? So that's why you have to be diligent. That's why you have to be watching as well as praying. Okay? Because if you're not watching, then that means that you don't understand what is happening. Okay? And you're not linking it up with the scriptures. Okay? It says, which I have told thee before, verse 2, then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So these signs all point to the time where the highest or the most high is going to begin to visit the world which he made. Okay, he's going to send his only begotten son, Yahweh Shai, to come back and deliver the elect of the children of Israel. Start with the 144,000. You know, you had a 1/3, the peaceable multitude, you know, friends of the prophets, helps, family members, so on and so forth. So the Lord is showing all these things to point to he is approaching. He's getting ready to come back. Okay. Verse 3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then thou shalt well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the beginning, from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So now that we're seeing this thing, we're seeing that the words of the Lord are actually coming to pass in our lifetime. Okay? So you got them old Christians that like to put off the day of the Lord and say, oh, well, God probably not going to come back in our time. He might come back 200 years. He might come back 250 years. It might be 800 more years. But he is going to come back. Well, that's them just putting off the day of the Lord. Okay? They just putting off the day of the Lord because why? Because they're engulfed in sin. They're really not true believers of the word. Okay? They follow false doctrines and false philosophies. Okay? They follow after carnality and they're worldly. Okay? So these people don't understand that this is what the scriptures is talking about. These people are looking at it like, you know, it's not supposed to be happening. But when we read the scriptures, we know, oh man, this is all the prophecies. This is all lining up. Okay? That's why, you know, we are the true prophets. Okay? Even when you look up GMS on chat GPT, they say that our main focus is prophecy. And that's what the prophets always did. They focused on prophecy. 2nd Ezra 15, starting at the top. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. And that's what we do. We speak the words of prophecies. We go into Revelation 12, Revelation 13, Revelation 18, Revelation 7. Okay, we go into Daniel, the 2nd chapter. We go into Daniel, the 11th chapter. You know, we go into the book of Isaiah, the book of Jeremiah. We go into all of these different prophecies and we break them down according to the spirit of the Lord. Okay? So that's what the prophets would do, speak about the prophecies as they're coming to pass. And eventually the Lord is going to have it to where we don't go out and speak anymore. Okay? Verse 2, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Okay? So how were these men given the prophecies first and foremost? Through visions. Okay? The Lord gave these prophecies through visions. Okay? You had the visions of Revelation, of John the Revelator. Okay? All these men that we read about, they got visions. And the Lord inspired them. He gave them the spirit to speak the words of prophecy, because there's not a place where you could go in the world and get a special prophecy delivered to you, okay? Or to go there and just sit still until the Lord comes to you and get a vision, okay? These things are divinely given, okay? These prophecies are given from a divinity, okay? So that's why it says they are faithful and true. So put them in paper, because why? Now we're seeing We're reading these words, we're reading these scriptures, and now we're seeing that these things are actually true because they're happening in our lifetime. And that's the power of speaking these prophecies. Okay, verse 3. Fear not the imaginations against thee, which there are millions of people who imagine things against us. Want to kill us, want us off the corners, want to demonize us, want to tie us into T-word organizations, get us to sell out. Okay? There are so many people that come up against us and don't believe in what we preach, man. It don't even make no sense. But we don't fear the imaginations that these people have against us. They persecuted the prophets before, they'll persecute the prophets now. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee. Now, the word incredulity goes into lack of faith. Okay? So these people are full of incredulity, man. Okay? They walk around basking and soaking in their sins and their carnality. They don't regard the ways of the Most High. They don't regard the words of the prophets. They don't regard their conduct and their condition of life. They don't regard their decision making. They go around making terrible decisions, and doing things that aren't of the Spirit. So, and these are the same people that speak against us. So that's why I say don't let it bother you, because they are the ones who's engulfed in sin and laden in iniquity, not us. So their lack of faith has no effect over us, pursuing the Romans 3:3. Okay? Verse 4. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. And that's just the bottom line. See, the Lord is bringing the spirit of death into the earth, man. Okay? And real soon it's going to grip America like never before. And you won't be able to escape that grip, lest ye be of the elect of Israel, might I add. Because the elect is only consist of you so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native and Seminole Indians, and you scattered Israelites around the four corners of the world. Okay? And the Lord has chosen a number out of you to return unto him. Other than that, everybody else that don't believe is going to die, whether they're Israelite or not. If you ain't of the elect, you gonna get cast out, man. And that's that. Okay? Matter of fact, let's get that another scripture I had in the book of Luke. Luke chapter 21 and 10. It says, then he added, matter of fact, I'll read 8. He replied, don't let anyone mislead you, for many will come in my name, claiming I am the Messiah, and saying that the time has come, but don't believe them. And when you have heard of wars and insurrections, don't panic. Yes, these things must take place first, but the end won't follow immediately. Nation will go to war against nation and kingdom against kingdom. There will be great earthquakes, and there will be famines and plagues in many lands, and there will be terrifying things and great miraculous signs from heaven. All right. So the Lord is speaking to the disciples and saying that these are all the things that's going to be happening in the end, and how to watch. So he's saying, don't panic. These things must take place first. And then, it won't necessarily pop off yet. That's why I say the end won't follow immediately, meaning that what's the end? When Yahushua returns to deliver the elect from the fire, the lake of fire. That's what it's saying. When there's wars and rumors of wars and insurrections and all that happening in the earth, they have to happen. But the end game is not immediately after that. And we've been seeing that for a while, man. Plenty of earthquakes. You had the Haitian earthquake that, I think that junk killed over like 200,000 people or something. You had that earthquake. You got there was another earthquake that hit Haiti. You've had earthquakes 2004. There's been earthquakes and insurrections happening for years, for decades, and we still not at the end yet. Okay. It says there will be great earthquakes, and there will be famines and plagues in many lands, and there will be terrifying things and great miraculous signs from heaven. Okay. So these are all indications stating that these things will happen prior to the return of the Messiah. Okay? And like I mentioned, you see, they're having mudslides and floods, and I mean, it's all kind of stuff going on around the world right now. And that's because the Lord he wants us to return to him. Okay? The Lord wants his elect to return. So the scripture says that he's going to shorten the day so for the sake of the elect, because the Lord is his good pleasure to give the elect the kingdom of heaven. It's his good pleasure, man. The Lord don't always want to see us in no fucked up position. Struggling, being up under the heathens, barely making it, having these bodily pains and infirmities, mental things happening to you where you're being attacked in your mind by Satan. Okay? All these different emotions and feelings coming in and out of the body, grief and sadness, depression, betrayal. Okay, the Lord wants to get us away from that, man, and have us live under his dominion, but we have to be cleansed, we have to be tried, we have to be refined. Our faith must be purified. So it's a process to get back into the good graces of the Lord. But guess what? We making progress. We making progress, man. And slow progress is better than no progress. I'm a firm believer of that. So the Lord is eventually going to open this thing up to the point to where it becomes overbearing to the wicked, and he's going to deliver and save his election through it all, man. So keep your eyes on the news. Keep your eyes on these current events. If you're in group chats or you follow certain social media pages and outlets, of course, you got some brothers that may like to watch the news, a newspaper, get little articles and stuff like that and read them. Just keep up with it. Stay relevant. That's why the scripture says what? Measure the time in itself diligently. Okay? This is a thing of diligence. This is a thing of commitment. Okay? And discipline. So that we can extract all this information that we need to extract and give it to the people. Okay? So, that was just a quick lesson I wanted to put on wax. Responding to the brother Kasha Kwala. I could have got way, way more precepts, But, I believe that the Spirit hit it home, There's going to be a lot more shit going down real soon. Like I mentioned, earthquakes, tornadoes, that I believe the Elder Ratazar posted that this hurricane season is going to be extreme. I believe there's a couple of systems forming in the Atlantic right now as we speak off the East Coast. So they may bring devastation or flooding or inconvenience like never before. You never know how the Lord can turn this thing up. But one thing we do know is that before the Lord comes back, he going to tear this bitch apart. So Lord willing, that was edifying. I want to close it out once again, giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakodash. Double honors once again to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace, honors, and blessings unto the elect. Until the next lesson, I say shalom.